Okay, this is Vienna. Vienna is still a little bit lame, and so she doesn't really want to go forward very well, but she should be doing a little something anyway. So what I thought I'll do today is I'll show you, hopefully I want to show it on this long side, because then you can see both me and the horse, how easy it is to actually block a horse off, how easy it is, especially if it's a horse that doesn't want to go forward, to actually cut them off, because the horse, or a big concern of the horse, is not where you are right now, but where you're going to be, which is the prey animal mentality, because they need to make sure that they're not being cut off by predators. So they always try to work out where you're going to be, and if you're just in the slightly wrong place without realising it, you cut the horse off and get a response that you think you don't want, or that you didn't ask for, but as far as the horse is concerned you did. So I'm going to try and drive her on now. As opposed to with Heidi, I'll have to use the lunge whip with her because she doesn't want to go forward that much, but we'll see how well it shows, how easy I can cut her off. Let's see. I want to give you a list of a few things that I think you need to consider if you want to be successful in free schooling. Certainly these considerations have helped me to be reasonably successful with my horse Heidi. The first thing is that the horse has to respect the handler's space. That is really, really important, that point. And the second point is that the horse has to be forward and not in discomfort. You can see in this video here that Vienna is not entirely comfortable. She has a bit of a leg injury that is on its way out, but that is hindering her forwardness and will stop her willingness to free school successfully. Can you see us both? You see, now I'm cutting her off just by changing my direction like this. And again, now I'm cutting her off by changing like this. The third important point is that the horse has to learn to lunge well and understand and follow the basic lunge commands. Point number 4 is that on the lunge the horse should learn the verbal command for directional change. I personally use the word change because that is intuitive to me. And with this, the handler must consider for future use of the change at liberty that on the lunge the horse gets pulled in towards the handler, while at liberty the instinct of the horse is that it wants to turn away from the handler. So on the lunge the handler draws the horse in, while at liberty the handler drives the horse. Point 5 is that the horse needs to understand the verbal request, come here, or something like it, in combination with the drawing body language of the handler. Point 6 is that the handler must understand how to drive, draw, and block the horse. Point 7, it helps if the horse learns commands for stop, start, turns, and lateral work. So I have to look at the footage now to see how clear it is what I was doing, but I hope this showed that a change in my approach where I should totally change which way she's going because she doesn't want to be cut off and she's anticipating it, and like a small, if you're just slightly too far one way or another, as she can totally muck up what you're trying to do with the horse if you're not aware of what you're doing. Thank you. In the next two clips of Heidi, I'm showing here she doesn't want to go through that little corridor, and here I'm driving her towards it, and I'm too slow, I can't block off there. So I'm just showing in these next two clips how my positioning and my body language is really quite important. Here I got my positioning right. In this video I'm doing it the other way around, and she's actually was a little bit scared of doing it, and the way I set the horses up um, quite often so they understand what I want from them at Liberty is that I show them where they have to go, either by riding at first or by leading them through like I do here. And here I'm not following her through anymore, I'm walking past, I let her go. She knows now what I want her to do, but now it's just up to me to try and drive her and block her if she goes somewhere where I don't want her to go. There's still a few more points that need to be mentioned in training. There I didn't quite manage to block her off and she went the wrong way. The couple of general points are that you always want to be positive and encouraging with your horses when you train them at Liberty, and reward small attempts so the horse knows that a tiny step in the right direction is a good step. Then you do want to really reward the horse's efforts. I always feed them little treats. I hand feed them, but there's a video here on my channel as well how to hand feed. Just love your horse, get cooperation. Fear doesn't work for Liberty. The horse has to want to do it. And last but not least, the handler must be very consistent in every approach with the horse. And this last video clip that I've played 3 times now is today's final achievement. I rode it first and I took Heidi through it about quite a few times ridden, and then when I took the saddle off she didn't want to do it anymore and we had a bit of a struggle at our hands. It took me about 10 minutes to get her to go through it like this at Liberty. She knew what I wanted, but she couldn't be bothered because she thought it was dinner time.